Welcome to Love from Lisha for an extra dose of love in your day. Today, we'll be talking about how to deal with life when things don't go the way we want or expect. In life, there are always ups and downs, and sometimes there are very low downs where we lose a job, we lose a loved one, we find out about an unexpected health situation, there's a natural disaster, lots of things can take us down. And that's what we call the fall. We know that, okay, this thing happened and we feel ourselves falling. And then there's the impact where who we are is completely rattled. What we do in that impact matters so much for what happens going forward. On impact, one can either bounce or splat. The splat is like when you think about an egg dropping on the ground and it just splats and it's there and it's just sticky and stuck. And the splat is about self-agonizing, blaming others, maybe even doing things to avoid being in that situation again, and just keeping things safe and protected, maybe staying in a place of anger or frustration, bitter with oneself, bitter with life, bitter with others. And that splat is something that does not serve us well in any way. It's just those that have fallen because of unfortunate events and can't get back up. Maybe you've been there, maybe you know someone who's been there. It's hard to experience. It's hard to see that. The good news is that there's not just the splat. There can be the bounce. And the bounce is where you've fallen, you have that impact, and then you bounce up again. It's not about, oh gosh, this horrible thing happened, I'm okay now. Well, no, that grief, that mourning, that time to be sad, to take in and process what happened, that's critical. We need to take that time to mourn what was, what this means to who we are, to what our lives are, what are all of the effects of what has occurred. Take that time to just process, be with it, get support if needed, and then the bounce comes where we reinvent ourselves. We reimagine what life can be like. Yes, what we thought going down this path is no longer. So then we pivot, we choose a different path. Maybe our business has failed. It wasn't what we expected. We can say, what are the learnings? I am this person, I have become this person because of what I learned through what did work and even through the lessons in what didn't work. This is how I've grown, this is who I've become, and we take that to reinvent, to reimagine ourselves and our future. Let's say it's with a loved one and we've lost that person and the future that we imagined together, the life that we created is no longer. We take time to mourn that and then we go forward with who am I now as this person who is autonomous and going forward in my life. We can reinvent that and go forward differently than previously imagined. When I was in middle school, I had a very strong group of friends. And as we got older, they changed in ways that were different from the way that I was changing as I was getting older. And we started to become less connected. And the girls that I was so close with, they decided that they just were wanting to go in a different direction and that this friendship was no longer something that they were interested in maintaining. And another girl and I, we were kind of left to our own devices in finding what was next. And in that process, I was having to explore more of who I was, because before I was this person who was part of this group, and then all of a sudden there was that impact where I was like, okay, well now I'm not part of this group. Who am I in myself? What is my identity? And who do I connect with as part of that identity, as part of who I've become? Because as much as they had changed, I was also changing. And so then it took some time to kind of just try different situations. I would hang out with one person. Oh, is this a fit? Maybe, maybe not. Another person, it was kind of a fit, kind of not. And then finally I found someone who was an amazing fit and this wonderful person who welcomed me to join her and her friends. And we spent so much time together, really connected and enjoying each other, and that brought out parts of me that I loved. It was just so wonderful to be growing on this different path. And although it was really difficult going through what I did at the time, so painful, such a feeling of rejection and of not being good enough. At a time too when I was so fragile and knowing who I was, it really shook me. But there was that bounce where I said, if this is what it is, I will accept that because I can't fight it. I can't make people want to be friends with me. And I found a group of friends that I am still friends with to this day. One of the girls in particular, the first one that kind of brought me into that group and was so warm towards me, she's my very best friend. And if that situation hadn't happened, what I have today likely wouldn't have occurred. We can often look back at those situations when future ones come up and say, okay, you know what? I did that. Yes, I was different at that time, but I'm still me. I still have that in me, that ability to bounce, to say, this happened. This is awful, and I'm forever changed as a result. But rather than splat, I'm going to bounce. I will have resilience. I will prevail. I will come out stronger and better than ever. And we know people, there are so many who have shown that, where their businesses have crashed, or they've lost their homes and they've lost everything, or they've lost families, and they have been able to bounce. I would love to hear from you if you have experiences from your life where you can relate to the bounce versus splat. Maybe you're going through it now and you'd like to share, or you can share about other people that you know that have had experiences with bouncing and splatting. If you like this video, please click like, share, subscribe, click the bell to be notified of future episodes. And for more about me, my website is coachlisha.com. Until next time, with more love from Lisha. Bye.